Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. It is bowl season and the NFL playoffs are just a week away. Well, there's no better time to stop by Games and Things showroom and pick out new home theater seats for all your couch potato pleasures. It makes a difference, folks. Sit there in style while you're watching these games, and you got them for the whole year, whether it's a big game, big movie night at the house. Home theater seating, I needed some this year, and I went to Games and Things and spent about, 5 hours in their showroom trying to figure out which was the best for me. You'll do the same. They got a lot of selection there. Games and Things, go by and see them. Located out in West Knoxville off the Lovell Road exit. All right, Hoosiers to know. As I said, I've already used my Norman Dale and Jimmy Chitwood joke, so here's some real guys. Peyton Ramsey, the quarterback who we've been talking about, and as I mentioned earlier, named for Peyton Manning. Because they should have Peyton walk out at halftime because you got a lot of Colts fans and a lot of Vols fans that will cheer him. Running back Stevie Scott III, second team All Big Ten, but he's questionable with a leg injury. They're playing that for all it's worth. Tennessee's not going to know if he's going to go or not, probably right up until Thursday. Wide receiver Whop Philyor.
All name team.
Second team All Big Ten, 1,000-yard season, had a really good year. Cornerback Tywan Mullen, this is interesting. This guy's just a freshman. Pro Football Focus gave him the highest grade in the country in terms of forced incompletion percentage. Against him, opposing quarterbacks, 34% completion was all they had against him. Right. So that's a guy to watch, young guy. Defensive tackle Jerome Johnson, I mention him because he's going to be the guy that's right over the nose of Jerome Carvin, who's going to probably be filling in for Brandon Kennedy. So
Battle of the Jeromes.
What's that?
Battle of the Jeromes.
Yes, and that could be one to watch. It could make a difference in this ball game. And then kicker Logan Justice, the guy we mentioned in the last segment, he's as accurate as Brent Samaglia, which is very impressive. And then Chuck mentioned to you earlier, the offensive coordinator in Indiana will be calling his last game. Kalen DeBoer has taken over as the Fresno State head coach, but he stuck around Indiana for one last game. All right, that's Indiana. We got about 3 minutes here. Who do we, in addition to Marquez Callaway, who Jennings out, Tennessee style, I think the kicking game, I really think it is setting up as a Callaway type game. Who else are you looking at that you say, okay, here's one to watch for the Vols?
I want to see the running back. And I just
Eric
Gray. Eric Gray. God, the game he put in against Vanderbilt, and then the coaches went to him early in the season when he was healthy, so I wonder if he got banged up a little bit. You've had a month off, you're back. I want to see how Eric Gray does, see if he can continue that.
Part of it might also be how well was he versed in pass protection, because his carries did kind of disappear at times. They just don't have anybody. I mean, there were games that were Chandler, there were games that were Jordan, there were a couple games that were Gray. But coming after that Vanderbilt game, it will be interesting to see how they use him in this one.
Yeah, because he's definitely a young guy that you're going to need for next year when you're losing a lot of your receiving core. Yeah. And so his jump cut that he has is one of the best that I've seen at Tennessee in a long time.
Anybody else stand out as guys that, okay, here's a guy that can be a difference maker in this game?
Well, obvious at linebacker, because I think Tennessee's linebackers can be stressed in the passing game. Obviously Batuli, this will be his last game. He needs to have a big game, and Tennessee will, I think, come out okay.
I would say Donwood Anderson as well. When we talk about that passing attack, maybe quicker passing from Garantano if they're looking for somebody that can be an option there. Part of the reason his numbers aren't so great with Anderson is because of Jennings, Callaway, and Palmer. So this is another opportunity for the tight end in his final game.
I'm going to go with Jerome Carvin. I mean, if he's going to step in there and play a position he probably hadn't played all year, hadn't played much all year, that's such a huge thing, setting the pass protection, and he can't get smoked.
And Josh Palmer, if Jennings is going to be out, somebody else needs to come through at wide receiver.
Yeah, do you see Ramel Keaton get involved? Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, I was going to say, too, the guy that's really got us to where we're at this season, I guess we hadn't thought about, was Garantano. And all those guys don't really get going without him at what potentially could be his last game. He could be coming back, who knows. But
makes it sound like he's coming back.
And
it's a long way till next fall.
I mean, and again, same thing. He's banged up a little bit during the season, too. You got 3 weeks off to get healthy.
Garantano still have that bulky splint and everything on his hand and wrist.
Well, again, you're not only talking about a center who's playing center for the first,
exactly.
But that exchange is going to be interesting to watch, especially if Garantano still has that cast on his hand. Darrell Taylor's another guy I'll throw out there. last game. You know, you're talking about an Indiana team that likes to throw the ball. We mentioned earlier Tennessee's pass rush
Good one.
picked it up later in the year.
Good one.
That's a guy that's playing for NFL scouts right now. How big of a day does he have? Is he able to come in and make a couple of key sacks in this game that could turn the thing? When we come back, we're going to talk about. Well, first, I'll tell you what, Chuck. I hope I didn't. Did we start the music?
Just a quick. Okay.
And then we stopped the music. Sorry. The line.
fake.
Tell
Oh,
us about where the line started, where the over/under started,
It
where it is
really
now.
hasn't moved. Tennessee opened 1.5-point favorite. It stayed right there. The total was only gone up slightly from 51 to 52. So, but it stayed right at 1.5. Tennessee as the favorite.
51-52. It's an interesting number.
Yes.
You know. We'll talk in the next segment whether or not you like the over or the under in that one. And we'll make our predictions next on the Sports Source. Start the music.